Doug, 75 years, but it comes, doesn't it, this summit, as NATO's facing some of the greatest threats to its unity it ever has.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, to the point that you wonder whether or not NATO's far and away biggest member, most important member, the U.S., will even still have NATO's back a year down the road. Look, looming extremely large, I mean, giant over this entire summit is the prospect that Donald Trump will soon be back in the White House. It's not an implausible prospect, especially at a time when Joe Biden is the subject of a lot of squabbling within his own party as to whether or not he should even stay on the ticket or step aside in favor of a younger, more dynamic candidate. All of that said, look, Donald Trump, if he were back, the reason I say all bets might be off for NATO, he is a man who has time and again bashed NATO. He has threatened to pull the U.S. out of the alliance. He has basically threatened to pull the plug on future aid to Ukraine, support for Ukraine, one of the giant dominating themes of this summit as well. And he's a man who has made no secret of the fact that he has disdain, outright disdain for the Western alliance. Yeah, he's beaten them over the heads, telling them to step up, contribute more to the alliance. But at the same time, he's a man with an extremely isolationist vision who has never subscribed to this sort of Article 5 sense of an attack against one is an attack against all. So it raises that question at a time when there is more disunity within NATO ranks. We have Viktor Orban, the Hungarian prime minister, back from fresh visits to Vladimir Putin in Moscow, to Xi Jinping in Beijing, a man who's broken ranks with not just NATO but the EU in general, right now among the members of that alliance, at a time where you have the far right on the rise across Europe. France just having its own close shave. A lot of leaders right now, wondering whether their own public opinion is going to swing against the whole notion of having a Western alliance in support of Ukraine against what the Western world has in the past and would have many years in the past perceived as Russian aggression against a sovereign state.
Because of everything you just said, Doug, of course that means that NATO and Ukraine really scrambling now to try and shore up defences.
Absolutely. It's the term being used, Stuart, is Trump-proofing, which is exactly what it sounds like. It is making NATO impervious to the prospect of a Trump who basically backs out of NATO or lets NATO fend for itself. What does that mean concretely? Well, it means that NATO itself is trying to step up its own weapons production. It's just signed a new contract with Raytheon, a $700 million contract for Stinger missiles. Stingers are surface-to-air missiles. They can be easily carried across the field. They're very mobile. They can also be mounted on the backs of trucks and fired against incoming aircraft. So these Stingers are already part of the Ukrainian weapons arsenal, but also NATO needs more of them as well. Also, Joe Biden stepping up his support with pledges of a new anti-air defense system, another Patriot system as well. More ammunition, also pledges of ammunition. What basically the NATO members, Ukraine are trying to do, Ukraine domestically producing more weapons, they are trying now to ensure that in the absence of the U.S., aid coming through, military aid, arms aid, that Europe will be able to have its own weapons capacity, not just to help Ukraine down the road, but also to keep its own stockpiles replenished, which is no easy question. It's not up to the task right now where we stand today of fending for its own defense, seeing after its own defense, and seeing after Ukraine's defense. Some military experts say that you would need to double the current spending in order to help Ukraine defend itself from a stepped-up Russian assault in the near future. That so far isn't happening. So yeah, everyone's scrambling, everyone's hoping, everyone's praying that some solution will be found. But on the basis of what we've seen from the U.S., the Republicans held up those weapons supplies to Ukraine for 6 months. We saw the effect that had on the battlefield. If Donald Trump were to come to power in November, there's the prospect of not a 6-month wait for weapon supplies, but 4 years, perhaps even more, if his policies were to be implemented and then picked up by another Republican administration.
Doug, thanks very much. Doug Herbert, international affairs commentator here on France 24.